Rolling.
Rolling the rope. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, super excited for this. Yani, it's been a minute and I have missed this. And there's no better way for us to come back than with the person that you are seeing in front of your screens. Now, we've interviewed his counterpart, but it is only right that we do justice because I keep saying, a lot of people ask me, how come you don't interview the whole group? I say it's because each and every individual has a story, and I'm interested in knowing the story of the person and how and what role they play in the group. Now, the person in front of you, in case you've been buried under a rock, in case you've been below internet for like 5 years, is a producer. Yes, he's a producer. He's an instrumentalist. Yep, he also plays instruments, and we'll be talking all about this. He's got an album to his name. Not just, and I'm not talking about in the setting of a group, I'm talking about personally. He's got an album to his name, his own personal album, and we're going to be hearing all about that. But most importantly, a lot of people know him because he is one of the members of Sauti Sol, which is Africa's biggest group. In fact, let me just say this. Let me put this out there. Since P Square, I don't think there's been a group that has been bigger than Sauti Sol.
Tell them.
Let them know, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together for none other than Polycarp, Fancy Fingers, Otieno. Yeah, at least you know the memo. At least you're able to do your own sound effects. I keep saying budget is tight. Hence why I become my own sound effects. First and foremost, this studio looks amazing.
I know, right? World class. World class studio.
And have you guys been doing some of your work in this particular studio?
Yeah, the past, during the whole pandemic time, this is where we were isolated. This is the studio we were isolated. So we recorded a lot of stuff during that time. So like even all the EPs that are coming out individually are recorded here. The stuff like even Viri's album was recorded here. You know, so a lot of stuff is we are here every week.
Indio Nyumba.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, let's get straight into this, man. I know guys are excited.
Yes. So am I, but it's an honor. Yeah.
And first and foremost, man, those guitars on the side, they're not there for decoration.
They shall be touched.
Yes, they need to be. We'll get all into that, but I like starting this from the very beginning.
Okay.
Let's talk about when did you fall in love with music?
As far as I can remember, to be honest. So when I was like very, very young, music was like my go-to thing all the time. So I'll be the one to, when my dad starts playing the Lingala music and he leaves, I'd be now the one to put them on the CD and play and listen by myself, you know. And those days, it was not cool as a young kid to listen to such music. But I just found myself loving it and, you know, just listening to it by myself. And I really, really enjoyed it. And in primary school, music was my favorite subject by far.
Even before primary school. Let's rewind this a bit.
Yeah.
When were you born? What number are you in the family? Where were you born?
Okay. I was born in Jama Hospital in Jericho. And we grew up in Kariobangi South. So this was, I was born in 1987. I'm old, I guess.
These days, 87 is old.
Nowadays, it's 7 years old. Yeah, so it was born in 1987. We are a family of 3 siblings. I'm the middle child. And yeah, grew up in Kariobangi South.
So you've got a
elder sister, small brother.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 years apart, exactly. So my sister and me, 5 years apart. Me and my brother 5 years apart.
Yeah, and your bro is also...
He's also a musician.
He's also a musician.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 1987.
Yeah.
You come in, it's you and your sister. Tell me a little bit about that time.
So I can remember from, I guess, 2 years old. But so 1987, grew up...
You can remember from 2 years old?
Yeah, I can remember from 2 years old, yeah. Okay. No, there are people who have... Actually, people can remember from even when they're like 6 months. Apparently. That's what I hear.
Whoa.
People, so some traumas they can remember during that time. But yeah, so 1987, we before Kariobangi South, we used to live in Sivo. I don't know if you know Sivo.
Giuliani, man. Giuliani is cool.
Sivo servants. So we moved to Kariobangi South Flats when I was 4 years old. So during this time, my dad, I think, had gotten a new job. He used to work for Philips. And his name is Philip. So when I was young, I used to think that's his company. So and my mom used to be those helpers for dentist, the assistant, dentist assistants. Yeah, so grew up in Kariobangi South. It was a fantastic like environment for me to grow up, to be honest. And during that time, of course, there's no internet, there's no distractions. So there was a lot of room for innovation at that time. So all the games used to play outside, you know, listening to music, even watching the old videos of Akina Angelique Kidjo during those days that were very inspiring at that time. A lot of African music was actually being played on TV. Utna, remember Utna? Yeah, so that really got me really inspired to just love music and want to be on stage as well.
Okay.
And church also played a big role in my music, in my love for music at that time. Because I remember when I was really young, so maybe 4 or 5 years old, I used to want to go to the front to join the choir, but I was very shy even at that age, and I just wanted to just go and hang out with the guys and just be there in the center of it all and enjoy the whole music, but I just could not find it in me. So I just used to stay at the back with my brother, and we used to jam ourselves at the corner in the church, and we just used to play imaginary drums by ourselves, or we start clapping or beating ourselves like this. So yeah, that's basically the beginning at that time.
Okay, so now where did you go to primary school?
I went to Day Spring Junior School, which is in Sivo. So it was close to where we used to live. So Day Spring was a private school. My dad was those kind of people who are very meticulous with the way they take their kids to school. So he was like, yeah, there are many public schools that are free or are not that expensive at that time, but you have to go to a private school. So like, okay. So he really fought to pay my school fees, through to pay my school fees, but he took me to the best schools, man.
I've not heard you mention your mom at this time.
Yeah, I mean, my mom, so my mom was, so she was a dentist assistant at that time.
Oh, yes, you had. Sorry.
Yeah, I did, yeah. And she morphed now into a businesswoman and started buying stuff and traveling to South Africa, Uganda, and buying stuff and coming to sell to people here in Nairobi.
Okay.
Yeah, and they actually moved. They used to live in upcountry, both of them. So they came to Nairobi for a better life. Yeah. So
okay.
they were new to the city at that time, as they gave birth to me at that time. So they were very new to the city.
Yo.
Yeah, I can imagine how that was. It must have been crazy.
It's what guys were calling the rural to urban migration.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
It was huge.
At that time.
Yeah.
Now, okay, in school, do you now are you falling more in love with music? Have you picked up an instrument? What's happening in school now?
So in school, in primary school now, in Day Spring Junior School, music started being like my favorite subject. Those are the days now when we had, how many subjects were they? There were like
7 or something.
No, 7 was now when it was cut down. I think before there were like 10, like on top of the sciences.
Oh yes,
there was
I get
agriculture, home science,
business education,
music, all these things. So music, I picked up music, and also used to draw a lot. So proper, I was like the best artist in school at that time. In primary. And even my house, our house rather, had paintings and drawings of me, the ones that I had done. So those were our deco, was me.
Your artwork.
My artwork. So I loved music at that time, and I have very fond memories actually of music during that time. So I had a best friend called Dominic, DD.
And by this time we're talking now 90s.
Yeah, this is 90s. This
Okay.
is 90s, yeah. So,
Early 90s, 91, 92.
This is, so I started, nursery was 92. So let's say around when I was maybe class 5, class 6 is when music really, I picked up the love for music.
Okay.
So that's maybe 97, 96, 97. So I had this best friend we were neighbors and we were in the same class. It was called Dominic DD. And he used to have, his dad was a DC, DO or DC. He just used to shift from those positions. One time a DO, one time a DC, another time a PC. So he used to have a lot of instruments in his house. He used to have 2 Casio keyboards, and I used to borrow one all the time to take it home, and I just jam with it. I knew nothing about like music. There was this music book called, what was it called? It was a big blue cover music book. I think you may remember it, but I don't know what it was called. So it had a lot of music in there. So like Christmas jingles and stuff. that were very easy to read, even if you're not like, you don't know how to read music.
Yep.
So those are the things I used to play on the Casio, and I used to love it. So my days were spent, like let's say we're on holiday, I wake up in the morning at like 7, I'm drawing and painting up until like 10 or 11, and then I move to music and I start playing. Also, I started training my ear then unknowingly. So I listen to something on radio and I want to imitate and play it on the keyboard.
So your introduction to music wasn't even the guitar?
No, it wasn't the guitar. The guitar came much later, like after high school actually.
Yeah.
That's when I was introduced to the guitar, after high school. But I used to make, because I was an artist in, like general as an artist, so drawing, making stuff. So I used to make like guitars with kasuku tins and mbaos, you know, just for fun. It wasn't even functional.
I get what you mean, yeah.
Just like,
it was more of an art piece than
it was an art
instrument.
piece, yeah. Because I used to make those, then I paint, then I draw. So I was just making cars. I was just a very handy person.
And are your parents supportive of this creative?
They were in a way, they were accepting of it. I guess they didn't know how to further it at that time.
Okay.
So they're accepting of it. And I mean, that generation, they were focused on you getting a white collar job. So they're like, okay, you can do this fancy stuff, it's fine, but you know that you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, whatever it is. So yeah, their minds were focused on that, but they could see that I have so much love for this, for the arts in general. And they used to buy me like stuff for painting. I was not bought for an instrument when I was young. So I guess they saw that my best friend had stuff and I could borrow and stuff. They're like, okay, at least
Dominic
we can save some money. We can save some money in that area. Yeah, but they used to buy me, like when I top the class, my dad gets me paints and paint brushes, you know, to just enjoy.
By the time you're saying you top the class, that means you were pretty clever.
I was either number 1. I was top 3 all the time.
Oh, so you were not just a creative, you're also sharp in math, science.
Yeah. It was like a proper balance, to be honest.
You are the perfect kid.
I am. Or I was. Let me say I was. Yeah, there was a perfect balance. So even for me, it was confusing on what I'd want to do later in life, you understand? Because I'm like, I know I'm very good in sciences and math and all that, but I'm also very good in handy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, even carpentry. Carpentry was one of the classes in Primo at that time.
Art and craft.
Before it was scrapped off. And like, I don't know, there's just something with my hands that when I touched, it was just ended up being like perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
In school, primary, now we're still in primary at this stage. Do you okay, what's the exit or what's the transition out of that? Or is there any other musical experience or experience that you want to share from that era?
From primary school, not really. Okay, actually, there's one thing that I remember very fondly was now when I was in class 6 or 7. So there was this first aid box kit that was at the corner of the class. It was a big box. And I was attracted by how the wood sounded on all sides. I used to play a lot of percussion during that time. So like the top and the side sounded really like, you know, musical and just nice. I was the prefect of the class at that time.
Okay, you're such a good boy.
But the prefect that does not tell on people.
Okay.
So everyone was like, that's the guy to go to. So I was mischievous, but still the prefect in class. So during break time, I used to go to that corner and play for guys to dance on the first aid kit box as the prefect. So this is break time and guys are coming in and just playing like the songs that were I remember playing Crisscross by Aaliyah and Timbaland. So dun 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 dun
somebody
dun 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 dun. So I used to play that jam and people used to love it. People started dancing and dancing. Break time was like 30 minutes. So I have to be careful that 10 minutes before it's over, we need to stop because then next teacher is going to come. And sometimes they come early. Maybe they want to set up or start writing notes on the blackboard, and then you come, you have to, you know, catch up. Yeah, so I just used to play with them and just disappear before the teacher comes.
You were in the same...
It was a party.
You were in the same school for 8 years?
Yes, same. From nursery till class 8. Okay.
Secondly, this is very important. Yeah. You've mentioned it. What are you listening to?
Right now?
No, at that time.
Oh,
so,
okay, yes,
so
yes,
let's
yes.
talk about class 7, class 8. Or during this era, what kind of music are you listening to?
Class 7, class
Not
8.
even class 7, in this time. If you were to mention the songs or the music and the musicians you're listening to.
Oh, okay, so Kenyan music at that time was popping, my friend. Like everyone, it was so cool to have like Kenyan music as a CD of Kenyan music at that time with like Nameless. Klepto had just come out because they were
Klepto?
when class 8. When I was in class 8, they were in form 2.
Oh.
So they're like 3 years older than me because Nyash is like 3 or 4 years older than me. So at that time now when they came out, I was like, what music is this? This is so dope. Like I was in shock, man. I remember actually Hare, one of my cousins, was a producer then. I didn't understand what a producer was. But one of my cousins was a producer and he had access to the song before it came out. So I went to his house and he played me Hare and I was in shock. And then I was told they are high school kids. So in my head, I'm like, these guys are just 3 years older. Yeah. And they're doing this amazing. To me, it was like world class. Like there was no difference between Hare and Timbaland. No difference whatsoever. So I was in shock. Yeah, but at that time, the Kenyan music was popping. So I'm talking class 7, class 8. And also that.
So this played an influence then in you?
Huge influence. And also that gap year between primary school, primary and secondary school. It was fire at that time. The Kenyan music was popping a lot. Yeah. And
then you were also saying in your home, when you go back home, you're listening to there's Lingala playing.
So my dad, being the Luo man that he is, used to listen to a lot of Lingala. So actually we got a system, a huge radio system. Those days, that one that has 3 CD player, FM, and tape. 2 tape, whatever. What are they called? Yeah, just 2 tapes at the bottom. It was an Iowa. So one of my uncles who used to live in the States sent it to my dad as a gift. Huge system with big speakers. That one actually played a big role in me loving music because even the system was sounding so good. So when my dad puts Mozina, puts Zaiko Langa Langa on there, and I'm like, this. Of course, in the beginning, you're like, this is old people's music. You want to be cool amongst your friends, but your love for it, you just can't fight it. It sounded really good. So I used to love listening to that stuff. Yeah. So when my dad puts it on, I'm just there listening. I actually, the CDs had booklets.
Yes.
That have the lyrics. Yeah. That have the lyrics. And I used to read as I'm listening. I used to read as I'm listening to the stuff. Yeah.
It's because I feel like the music that you guys brought that music back for our generation.
Yes.
In terms of you guys, I'm talking about Sauti Sol.
Yeah.
In this case, your music is has this rootedness in it, African rootedness in it. I was wondering, the reason why I asked that question is I was wondering, did you...
Where it came from.
Yes, did you love this growing up?
Yeah, I did. I did so much.
Because you're mentioning here Aliyah. You're mentioning...
Yeah.
So you liked a diverse... Your music range
was very diverse.
Okay.
Very diverse. So what my age mates are listening to, which was hip and what people are listening at that time, so like in Aliyah and stuff. And then there's now what my parents are listening to, especially my dad. So that exposed me to, different palettes of sounds. That really excited me, which I guess is something that, like, I have a thing for sound, to just know, this is live instruments, this is very produced, in the studio, and they have different feels, and I just used to love all of them equally.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Okay, so do you do well when you finish KCP into the next stage?
So so the funny story with KCP is, I was index 1 in class 8.
Polycarp.
Index 1, moja.
You know the way you hear parents telling kids their story.
Video
has no idea.
But he has no idea. No pressure. So I was index 1, and the marks were out of how many? What was
700?
No, it was
now I think it's 5. Was it 5 or 600?
So we were the first 500.
Oh, you were that first
or the second?
Yeah,
I think we were the second 500 lot.
And when did you finish?
I always confuse these numbers. 2001.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah. 2001.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's when I finished. So I was index 1 and that whole year, I had not, out of 500, all the exams that we had done, I got 400 or 400 and above, always. Now, my dad really wanted me to go to Strathmore. I think it's something, he told me he had wanted to go to Strathmore, but he couldn't make it.
So he was like living through you.
Living through me. But I didn't mind. Strathmore is an amazing school.
Yeah, it is.
So what Strathmore does is they do pre-interviews. They take your mock results, and then you have to go to the school in the mid year of class 8. So as you do your mock, so you take your mock results when they're out, and then you go do a special interview in Strathmore. That is very, how do I put it? It's math and English, but it kind of tests your speed, your ability to solve problems.
It's almost like an IQ
quick.
test.
It is an IQ test at that point, but it's math and English, so grammar and mathematics, and they were like 40 minutes long each on the same day. So I did the exam, the interview, and I passed, and I was called, and they took my mock results. I had a 417 out of 500. So they called me and they're like, "You've qualified. We're going to pick you to join our school." So I was excited. Now my dad just told me this the other day as we're doing this Father's Day series, because many things came out that I didn't know. So he told me how, because we are not really well off, to be honest. I mean, Kariobangi South kids family, and he told, and Strathmore fee is not. It's something. It's something. It's one of the best private schools in the country. So he went to the principal. Rather, the principal called him, because after you're picked, the principal has a one-on-one with all the kids and their parents. So we spoke. I remember we spoke when I was in the room. So the principal saying, "You've been picked," blah blah blah. And then now they had a private, just the two of them. So I was told to leave. So my dad tells me now this year that he didn't know how he was going to pay that school fees. He had no idea whatsoever. But he assured the principal that, "Please don't send my son home when you don't pay. I will make sure that I pay, even if I delay. I will make sure that this is done." And that really got me, man. I was like, wow.
Yo.
Like you went through, you know how your parents sometimes goes through stuff and
You don't even know.
You don't know.
Yep.
And there are many times that I was almost being chased away, but the principal was like, "It's okay, leave him." Just like that. Yeah, so I went to Strath.
So did you finish KC? Did you do your KCP?
Yeah. So So where I was going is my KCP now. The results, because I was already picked. I knew I was going to Strathmore before I did the KCP. So I relaxed. I was like, me, I'm fine. There's no
pressure.
Yeah, there's no pressure. There's no need for me to do that last minute studying,
Swatting.
And I hate it. Up until today, I can't do last minute stuff.
Yeah.
But then I got the lowest marks ever that year, my class 8 year. So I got below 400 marks. I got 397, which was my lowest that whole year. But I knew I was already picked.
Yeah.
I was like, it's fine. So I went to Strathmore the next year. So I was sorted.
Okay. So let's then enter this era of Strathmore.
Yeah.
And now you keep, because Strathmore, I know. I don't know Strathmore for having the creative side.
No, they don't.
I know Strathmore for basketball.
Yes, rugby.
Yeah,
and football also.
And swatting and the books.
And the books.
Yes,
that's true. So I got to Strathmore and
let me make you move a bit.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Just yeah. Is that okay? Yeah.
So in Strath, when I joined and I saw the subjects, I was like, this is it's only sciences and math. So I'm like, there's nothing, there's no art, there's no music, even as a subject. No music whatsoever. I was like, okay, I mean, I'm here to study, it's fine, let's finish school. But the environment was amazing.
Yeah. Like
Strathmore environment is really, really good. That even the relationship with the kids and the teachers is like none other. Like other 844 system where you really scared of your teachers. Here it was very very personal.
And also Strathmore is day school.
It's day school,
So every day you're leaving Kariobangi South.
Imagine. I was
jumping on your mats.
3 matatus one way. And 3 matatus back. My at that time my total fare was like 300 bob.
Do you respect your dad now?
Where? Proper. And it was those days, sometimes there's no fare. So when I go to my dad, I'm like, Dad, give me fare for tomorrow. Like, go and ask your mom. I go to mom, give me fare tomorrow. Go and ask your dad. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on here, but I need to go to school tomorrow. So it was very hectic, to be honest. I was,
what does a day look like? What time do you wake up? What time do you leave? What time are you in school?
So depending on whether I'm studying or not, because also I need extra time to study because I'm traveling to and fro. So to can take an hour and a half, and from can take almost 2 hours because it's rush hour going back. So I have to wake up at 4:30. That's to prepare, not to study. 4:30, 4:45. So 4:30, 4:45, and I have to leave the house by 5:30 at least, so that I beat the rush hour traffic. So I get to town quick. I get those funky matatus, get to town quick, then get a mat to Westi. To Westi, then Westi to
James Gishuru. Then
James Gishuru, sometimes walk if I'm saving money, because I used to save money at that time, because now we were not that well off. I'm like, let me save a few coins for myself. So sometimes I walk, which is almost 30 minutes walk, and you're sweaty and it's hilly. You know that road?
Yeah. Past Musungari, up past St. Mary's.
Yeah, exactly. Then to school. So, but it didn't bother me. That's what I'm saying. If I had like a low self-esteem, because you're comparing yourself as a kid, you can't help but compare yourself to your colleagues who live like
in Lavington.
In Lavington, and I'm being dropped by their parents every morning, and they're fresh and they're happy, So it was kind of, I had to do so much extra.
So you were aware that we're not as financially well off as...
Of course, yeah. And I was okay with it. I was very much okay with it. And I used it to my advantage in a way. Like, I think that's how I learned to really make things work. Like I know if I have to study, then I'll wake up at 3:30, study. Because I'm more of a morning person than an evening person. So I'd rather sleep early. By 9, 10, I'm asleep. Wake up 3:30 if I have to study. So leave the house 5:30. That means I get to school at 7:45. Excuse me. The first class is at 8. So you can imagine this whole morning. This is 5 hours already. Between 3 and 8 is 5 hours.
Yeah.
And school has not started. Then school starts. Then it's a whole until 4:10 is when we used to leave.
Do you feel like this discipline that you have?
Yeah.
Creatives are known to be very undisciplined.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this life that you went through has assisted you in being a better musician?
Oh yeah, 100. I mean, with music, it should be the same because it's a career. It's not just any other job. You need to have discipline. So we have a mantra as Soul Generation. It's called DOPE. So it's discipline, order, passion, and excellence.
I love it. I love it.
You have to be without discipline, you can't have order. Without order, your passion won't, excel. So that's exactly it. So with how my life was structured from primary, even just knowing where we live, what I have to do, I have to be extra and all that. Then secondary school, I'm like, it's a privilege. I mean, it's good that I have brains and I've brought myself here, but my dad is really struggling to pay school fees and wants the best for me. So I can only give back by being the best and giving the best.
Hey, dude, I am loving this story, man. I'm loving it. I'm getting to learn so much about you and the role that you play within the group and even how, again, you guys get to where it is. That's why I like starting from the back, the back story, because it all ties up. The dots connect. Okay, so let's talk about Strathmore, your time at Strathmore.
Yeah.
There's no arts. So do you serve that passion?
In a way, I do, but during the holidays, I'm still painting and drawing, for example, and I am very much.
There's no even art and craft.
So there was no art and craft. No, there was an entertainment. What was it? Was it a club of entertainment that I ended up? No, there was a school magazine called The Scroll, and this magazine, like, it's kind of like the elite of the school get to be in the team of the magazine, or did you audition? I can't remember, but so there are writers in the magazine. There's the editor, just the whole whole group, like rather, Yeah,
You are a
people
mini
who
newspaper.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, for the school. So in Form 2, I was chosen to be the entertainment editor. Imagine, just, I don't know how that happened. I can't remember all the details, but I was the entertainment editor for the magazine. And I was so excited. I just, made sure that it was the best magazine, that, the best entertainment section that has ever been in the magazine. I don't remember details. I have that magazine somewhere. I need to find it, or my brother has it. Yeah, so I was the entertainment editor. So that was a glimpse of now something that's off school, like the main school stuff. And then there was a talent extravaganza that started in school. In Form 2 again, I think, or Form 3. And this was a competition of music. So there were groups and there were individuals. I don't know if you know Andrew Tumbo.
No.
He arranges choirs and stuff. He's a very amazing musician. He was 1 year behind me in Strathmore. So I came up with a group in school. I put together a music group, and I was playing percussions. There was a guitarist and there were 3 singers. We were 5. We had a name. I've forgotten that name. We had a name. So I think we were 5 of us, or 6. So we did Boyz II Men cover. Is it Boyz II Men?
It's
Shy. So we did that song, and I was playing percussions and everything. So at the Talent Extravaganza, there were prizes. So we came out number 2. We were first runners up, and number 1 was Andrew Tumbo, who later on became this amazing musician that he is. Yeah, and that's when I really started loving music. Like, it just now exploded. I was like, okay, now I don't know what it is, but it's just pulling me too hard. I don't know what it is. Too strong, and I don't know what to do. And at that point, I know my strengths and my weaknesses. I know I do not have a singing voice, which is fine, but I know I have a gift in music, and I need to tap into it. I don't know what it is, but every time I know my hands are, I'm really good with my hands. When I pick something, whether it's percussion, whether it's a keyboard, drums, anything, it just flourishes. So it's like, I need to tap into this.
And you're the one who formed that group. You're the one who brought guys together.
Yeah, brought them together.
So you are the visionary.
I was a visionary. So yeah, we were second runners up. And then now the guy who was playing the guitar, he was called, what's his name? Steven Musimi. So he was playing the guitar, and I was really attracted to how he was playing and just the sound that the guitar had. Because that's the first time now I'm having proper interaction with the guitar.
I get it.
That's the first time. So I'm really interested. And then there was also another guy called Robin Subuga. You know Yafesi?
Yes.
Yafesi's brother, the youngest brother. I was in Strathmore with him.
Nice. Tiny world.
Tiny world. So he also used to play the guitar. So in Form 4 now, of course I'm concentrating with school, but also there's just this strong urge. When
Form 4 is
now.
where you're not supposed to be doing creative.
I know, right? Not at all.
And by the way, I need to ask, were you doing well in school? Were
Yes.
you passing? I know Strathmore has this thing of upper 1,
the core quarters.
So were you in the top quarter?
I was in quarter 1, yes.
Yo.
But barely made it quarter 1. So quarter 1 our class had 82 people. So quarter 1 has 21 people. I was index 19. So you're put in the quarters according to your index. So index 1 to 20. So the first quarter is quarter 1, then quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. So quarter 1 were the clever people. But I was like,
Strathmore, you're all clever.
My friend, all the clever people from all over, especially like all over Nairobi mainly, but all over the country. And they come there and you're like, I thought I was clever, my friend. Nothing. That's why I was in quarter 1. At this time now, let's say in Form 4 now, when my love for music is really growing, I'm still in school, I'm still studying, of course, focused on the KCSE exams, but there's just this very strong urge of music, and I didn't know what it was. So do we fast forward now and finish, or is still high school?
So we can transition out of high school.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
and how do you do?
I get an A-.
Baby, oh, nikubaya.
Nikubaya.
I'm joking.
But our class happened to not do so well, actually. That for the past, I think we were the worst in quotes, but for 10 years at that time, we had done the poorest in all the 10 classes of Form 4. I think we had only 2 or 3 A's, straight A's, and many A minuses, like 20-something A minuses. So I was one of the A minuses.
Yeah. But first of all, an A minus is so good.
Yeah. But no, Strathmore, standards are high, my friends.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so I got an A minus. I was happy. I was very happy. I had chosen to do electrical engineering.
JQuat.
Yes, I had picked electrical engineering, but I missed it by 3 points to be taken for regular. Isn't it regular? Regular. So I missed it by 3 points. So my dad is like, so what do you want to do? You want to go to parallel? And my dad just really, with education, he's like, he can do anything. What do you want? I'll find the money. So I learned about this new course called actuarial science.
Yeah. Bro.
Actuarial.
That's what you are.
That's what I am.
You know you're a geek. Eh? I'm so shocked to see this. You're actually a geek. They're like, that's not an easy course at all.
No, it's not.
It's extremely difficult and pays well.
Yeah. No, it's not easy. But now even, let's go before the course now. Before I even went to uni. Again, the gap year is...
And what year is this that you're taking the gap year?
2006.
Aha.
2006. So the gap year was...
2006?
Yeah, 2006, yeah. That was the gap year.
Just for clarity,
Yeah.
you have not met any of the Sauti Sol
No.
guys at this time. You're all strange. You are...
Because they're in Upper Hill.
Them, they're together?
Yeah.
You are...
Yeah, and they're not together as Sauti yet. It's just Voices in the Light.
Yes.
I think Bien probably talked about Voices in the Light.
But what I mean is, you're not even friends.
No, but you know what the interesting thing is? I was picked when I finished my KCPE with the 397 that I had. I was called to Upper Hill School. I have the letter. I have the letter. So that's where I would have ended up anyway.
Yeah.
If my dad said, hey, Nyere, East Physia, Strathmore is too much, I can't afford.
You would have been in...
I would have been Upper Hill and I've been with them, but probably we would not have been formed the band together.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have been a singer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even in Strathmore, in Form 3, they introduced choir now, music, because they wanted to compete the national competitions for choirs. So that's when they introduced the choir. Form 2, actually. And I remember, because I know my love for music is so huge, and I still don't know what it is that I'm good at or that I can do. I remember wanting to audition for that choir so badly, but I'm like, I don't know how I'd do, because I'm not a singer, really, but I have the ear for sure, but I just don't know. So I remember going for the auditions, but just sitting there in the auditorium, just waiting, and I could not gather the courage to get on stage. I could not find it in me at all. At all.
There's something pulling you, but
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't. So I guess that's why now my interest for other things within music, playing percussions, the guitar, forming this group now, and everything. Yeah.
Okay. So so you finished you're in this gap year period.
Yes, gap year period. So gap year period, I did French in high school.
Oh,
in high school first. I think I got an A also in French. So when you get a certain grade in high school for French, when you go to Alliance, you're just taken to the highest level, straight. So I went to do diploma for French, straight. Because there's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So I did level 4, straight. So I went to Alliance. So I told my dad I want to do French.